Welcome back, Stas23 here, back again with some knife therapy. And today I have my 10 great knives that you just can't go wrong with. And this is for every budget. I got some the low end all the way up to around $200 or so. And these are just knives that are good at being knives. They're not really flashy. They work. They're comfortable. They perform. I've tested every single one of these, and I've tested them for a good while for the most of them. But let's get started. Number one, we have one in the budget realm, the Reich P801. This is going to come in at $30, and for $30 you get Sandvik 14C 28N steel, which is an excellent budget stainless steel, a full flat grind, so it comes down to a nice thin edge. And I don't know if you noticed that action. I mean, it comes out with authority, comfortable in hand. Now it is a little bit heavier because it is stainless steel handle scales. They have been have they? No, I don't. No, that's right. Okay, they have not been skeletonized, but the action, I've owned probably 3 or 4 of these, and the action was great on all of them. And I think it's a good looking knife as well. You can also use that thumb stud. But for 30 bucks, I think anybody could be happy with this knife, and it's a good tool for pretty much any situation. That's the Reich P801. I also tried to only pick one knife per company, so if you're wondering why this other knife wasn't in there, that's probably why. So number 2, we have one from QSP, and that is the QSP Penguin. They have several different variants of the Penguin. This particular one is in S35 with carbon fiber. I think it was like 50 or 60 bucks at Knives Plus. This one has excellent action, but the one that I probably like the most, because it's a great beater knife, is the D2 Penguin with micarta scales. And that comes in at 32 bucks. I think that's an excellent deal. They used to be even cheaper than that. Comfortable, just a simple, neutral handle, great utility blade shape. Riding on washers, very smooth action. I think I own currently, 5 Penguins, 4 of the D2 ones, and this one in S35. They're just great knives to give as gifts or to somebody you're trying to get them into the knife hobby. The Penguin, really nice offering here. They also have it in 154 cm with titanium scales. I think you can get an M390 now. I think you can even get a Damascus scale for it. But this is about as flashy as I probably want to go. I may pick up one of the Frag titanium scales just because I love Frag in 154 cm. But this or the D2 is all you really need. Number 3 is a Hall of Fame blader, no doubt, and that is the Ontario Rat Model 1 or the Rat Model 2, whichever size you want. But one thing I can say for sure is the Rat Model 1 and D2. This is my OS 8 variations. My D2 ones, I've lent them out to a friend. But even the OS 8 or the D2, both of them are absolute tanks. They are all really smooth action, really snappy. This is another washer pivot. It's phosphor bronze washers with a thin Teflon coating. That full flat grind slices very well. And I've owned numerous in OS 8, numerous in D2, and they are super strong knives. I used one of these at work whenever I worked in the chemical plant industry. And when I say beat on this knife, and it never failed on me, and never had any huge gashes out of the blade or anything, it looked terrible, but it worked. And I think that's, about as far as I go with that. You can choke up even if you want to, but it's a knife that has been popular for many years for good reason. You can get the large D2 variant for 40 bucks. I mean, I still think that's a good price. I know there's a lot of competition out there, but just watch pretty much any review if somebody who actually used one of these knives or tried to break it at that. Just an excellent heavy user or work knife. Number 4, we have the CJRB feldspar. This is the full-size feldspar. And this particular one's in micarta scales, but the one that I'm referring to, just because of the price, is the one with the G10 scales. You can get this one in G10 for, $40 as well. So this knife pretty much took the place of my Ontario Rat, and not so much as it's a far better knife. It does have some better qualities to it. This one's just a little bit heavier and a little bit beefier for me to carry. This one right here is also in D2, and you have contoured scales on this one. The micarta one, I think, is like $55 or something like that. But for $40, it's on bearings. If you like bearing action, I love that's a thumb stud. Very, very smooth action. Deep carry pocket clip. Tip up left or right hand carry. Super comfortable. And just a nice drop point blade on there. Comes down to a decently thin edge. Not super thin, but it's a good slicer. Awesome knife. You can get, I think you can get an S35 VN as well at Blade HQ as an exclusive. But you know, I don't think you need more than this. The D2, or I think they also have an AR RPM 9 stainless steel version that is probably excellent as well. But the contoured scales on here really make this a great work knife, or pretty much any role you want to put it into. There's a CJRB feldspar. They also have a mini feldspar or small feldspar that's like $32 or something like that. So excellent knives. This one's seen better days. You can see I got chips all over the edge. I forgot what I cut with this thing, but it worked. Coming in at number 5, we have the Civivi Riffle. I was going back and forth with the Riffle and the Elementum. And of course, the Elementum just is a better simple knife, but the Elementum comes stocked with the D2 steel. I live in the South, and D2 doesn't really excite me, even though Civivi does an excellent job with their D2, and this is a highly popular model. For me, the Riffle made more sense because it's a lightweight, you got a longer blade, longer handle, comfortable in hand, micarta scales. And the thing that drove it over the edge for me is it's in 14C 28N stainless steel. Very fidgety knife, smooth action. It's wearing my edge on there. 14C 28N takes a wicked edge. If you know how to sharpen, it's a very easy steel to sharpen. If you hadn't seen my review of this one, I put it through the ringer and it held up just fine. I beat on it and everything. But if you don't mind the D2, the Elements was another great one if you want an alternative to the Riffle. The Riffle, you can pick it up for $55, and I think you can get these for like $50 in the G10 form. Next up, we have the KAISER T1 in the number 6 spot. Oh man, this is a great no frills knife. 154 cm blade steel. That KAISER does such a good job on that. You know, I like 154 cm in just about all the companies, but KAISER does a really good job with it, at least on all the knives I've tested with them. The micarta is very nice. It's that American micarta, contoured scales, very snappy action on bearings. Deep carry pocket clip, but it is tip up right hand carry only. So if you're a lefty, I understand why this one might not appeal to you. The action on these are really nice. The detents start out kind of strong, but they definitely lighten up over time. This one is my unused one. I have one that I use pretty heavily, and that one has a stone wash finish that I put on it. So really awesome knife, and I think the best part about it is the price tag. You know, this is starting to get into the more premium steels, I guess. Not really premium, but right above 14C 28N. And you can get this one right here for 79 bucks. I think that's an awesome deal for the KAISER T1 in micarta contoured scales. Woo! Nice. Number 7, we have another Hall of Fame blade, and that is the Kershaw Blur. Not just any blur, though. The Kershaw Blur in S30V steel. This is designed by Ken Onion. He's such a great knife maker. His designs pretty much all speak to me, and they just work. Sorry if y'all can hear my dog barking. He's an idiot. But even though I'm not a huge fan of recurves, this one just works and works well. And it's not a super abrupt recurve, and it's not the hardest to sharpen, especially if you have like a Spyderco sharp maker. You can just use the corners of the stones to sharpen it up, and it's just a tried and true knife. It comes assisted, but as you can see, I've de-assisted mine. You can take the assist out. Now, I will say that some of them do not have a good enough detent to de-assist. It's a very weak detent sometimes. This one is just fine for me to be able to flip it out and it not open in my pocket. I've owned many of these as well. Aluminum scales. You got that track inserts tape in there. It's like a rubberized grip tape. It does a great job to keep the aluminum from being slick, and it's just a really good knife. I don't like the pocket clip at all, but they make aftermarket pocket clips if you don't like it as well. The Blur, another one that you can see countless reviews on. I haven't heard many people say bad things about the Kershaw Blur. USA made. Come on, what's there not to love? And you can get this bad boy for 79 bucks. Or if you want a little cheaper version, you can get the 14C28N version for 66 bucks. That is the Kershaw Blur. Number 8, we have the Benchmade Bugout. Not just any Bugout. I prefer the Smoky Mountain Knife Works exclusive Bugout, which you see here, because it comes in M4 steel, one of my favorite steels, and G10 scales. This package right here is going to cost you $208, so I know that's going to be out of the price range for some people. If that is the case and you don't mind Grivery scales and S30V steel, you can get one for 144 bucks. But they have several variations of the Bugout. You can get an S90V steel with aluminum scales. They got all kinds of different sprint runs and exclusives. But I'll tell you what, I use this with the factory edge on it for the longest time. After the hurricane we had here during last hurricane season, I used this one a good bit. And I broke down numerous boxes with it. And I finally sharpened it up the other day, and I forgot how much I absolutely love the edge I can get on M4 steel. I kept it to a nice toothy edge because I find M4 does so good with the toothy edge. USA made, excellent action, very easy to carry, a good backpack knife, gym shorts knife, hiking knife, you name it, you can put it in whatever role you would like. M4 is a tool steel, so they coated it here just to keep it from corrosion. But regardless, like I said, this or the S30V version, you really can't go wrong depending on what steel you want, and if you want G10 scales or Grivery. The Grivery scales are strong. You don't have to really worry about them breaking or anything, but I just like the extra strength I feel in the G10 scales. So that is a Smoky Mountain Knife Works exclusive Bugout in M4. That is going to run you $208. Number 9, we have the Hogue Ritter RSK. This is the full-size RSK. I also have the mini. That's how much I like it. I also gifted my father-in-law one of the minis, and he absolutely loves the knife. This right here is probably the best value of all the knives I've talked about so far. because it's a USA made folder. Some of the proceeds go to knife rights because Doug Ritter is the man responsible for passing all kinds of legislation for us and in the knife rights scene. And he designed this folder a long time ago for Benchmade, or I sold it through Benchmade, and then something happened there and moved over to Hogue. But regardless of where it's at, it's an awesome knife. 20 CV blade steel. It's got like an axis style lock right here that, in my opinion, works better than the Benchmade axis lock. Very smooth out of box. Comfortable contour G10 scales. And in this exact configuration, you can get for 169 bucks. Yes, 169 bucks. I think that is an awesome, awesome deal. And you get this smooth action. And when I say I cannot flex any side-to-side blade play, most of my Benchmades that are that smooth usually have a good bit of side-to-side play. Not a good bit, but they have side-to-side play. Not this one. I don't know what they do different, but the tolerances must be a little tighter. It's got a beautiful stone wash on there. Deep carry pocket clip, tip up. Left or right hand carry, totally ambidextrous knife, very slicey blade, and like I said, they make a mini as well. Both of them awesome knives, and you just can't go wrong with the Hogue Ritter SK. Last but certainly not least is coming from Spyderco, and it's arguably my favorite Spyderco, and that is the Spyderco Sage. This one right here is the Sage 5 lightweight Blade HQ exclusive. I love the combo here. I got the coated blade version because I like the contrast with the mint green FRN scales. I love the weight on this guy. The action, it's got the compression lock. Action's amazing on it. And I think the reason I prefer the Sage series over, say, the Para 3 or Para 2 is the ergos out of box. The way that this handle curves down right here, it just fits my hand like a glove. I love the choke up position as well. I think it looks better personally. This particular one has a wire pocket clip. This one's an M4 steel. And this one right here is going to run you $164. Or you can get the black FRN scale with S30V steel for $141. Or if you want to bump it up even more, you can get the Sage 1 in MaxMet steel. An amazing performer as well. This one's in Battle Gray G10, Peel Ply G10, wire pocket clip on this one. Very good slicers. These come down to a nice thin edge, decently thin blade stock. This one's a liner lock over the compression lock right here, but both of them are nice and smooth, and they were nice and smooth out of box. This one, as well as this one, both on phosphor bronze washers, and I love a nice smooth phosphor bronze washer action. I also have the Sage 2 with the titanium frame lock with my anodizing finish on it. My Stosified NO. I hadn't done this finish in a long time. This one actually has a ceramic detent ball that I put in there because, like an idiot, I popped out the other one doing this finish to it. That's a long story, but kind of glad I did, because this thing, when I say is by far the smoothest Sage I've ever felt in my life, this thing is ridiculously smooth. I mean, ridiculous. This is the S30V version, but awesome, awesome knife. If you've never handled the Sage or never owned one, definitely do yourself a favor and check one out. So there you go. That is my top 10 knives that you really can't go wrong with. If If you have any questions about any of the knives you've seen here before you today, please let me know down in the comments. And I hope everybody's having an absolute wonderful day, and I will see y'all on the next one. Peace.